We are going to read an extract from a novel. For questions 31 to 36, choose the answer A, B, C or D, which you think fits best according to the text. 2 different words. 31. Why had Jenny always had the same opinion as her husband? Jenny felt she had failed her children. So many of her reactions had stemmed from the ingrained habit of seeing everything through Jack's eyes. How totally subservient to his views she had allowed herself to be. She realized objectively for the first time. But she had been young and naive. When she had got married, she thought in self-defense. Why was it that the house always had and still did daunt her with its merciless routines? It struck Jenny that she couldn't even remember what it felt like to laugh. Petra caught a glimpse of Jenny's reflection in the mirror and was surprised to see the look of fresh grief on her friend's face. Wondering if she had really minded so much about her cold-blooded, selfish husband, Petra was shaken out of her thoughts by Jones, the butler, announcing that dinner was ready. 31. Why had Jenny always had the same opinion as her husband? A. She had married when she was young. B. Her husband had forced her to. C. So her children would not suffer. D. It was what she had wanted. A. The right answer is A. She had married when she was young. 32. Why is the butler's appearance mentioned? Petra caught a glimpse of Jenny's reflection in the mirror and was surprised to see the look of fresh grief on her friend's face. Wondering if she had really minded so much about her cold-blooded, selfish husband, Petra was shaken out of her thoughts by Jones, the butler, announcing that dinner was ready. Now, just as it always had, dinner took over. How else could Jenny stand it? Jones, it seemed, could please himself, physically as much as anything else. With his nicotine-stained fingers, the tiny white flecks of dandruff dancing on his shoulders. His unpressed, grubby-looking trousers, tinned salmon, Melba toast, a minuscule piece of haddock and plenty of egg sauce. Spongy, suspicious-looking steak. How had that been thought out, Petra wondered. Jenny did not appear to notice. Jones had opened a bottle of wine. For the occasion, he had whispered, Had Petra detected a note of sarcasm in his voice, or was just imagining it? Ice cream which had seen the freezer more than once. Cheese and biscuits were grudgingly offered, with Jones hovering over them, daring them to accept. Jenny ate sparingly, just one or two mouthfuls here and there, her brain darting back and forth between her husband's recent burial to the acceptable conversational topics she now shared with the friend she had not seen in nearly a decade. She asked about Petra's work. I do not understand why you left Africa. Did not you get some kind of promotion? (32) Why is the butler's appearance mentioned? A. To show how much Jones disliked his job. B. To show he was too old to care for himself. To emphasize the fact that Jenny was too scared to say anything. D. To prove that Jones could do what he liked. D. To prove that Jones could do what he liked. When the 33, when the women were alone, why couldn't they talk about themselves? Now, just as it always had, the dinner took forever. How else could Jenny stand it? Jones, it seemed, could please himself, physically as much as anything else. With his nicotine-stained fingers, the tiny white flecks of dandruff dancing on his shoulders, his unpressed, grubby-looking trousers, tinned salmon, Melba toast, minuscule piece of haddock and plenty of egg sauce. Spongy, suspicious-looking steak. How had that been thought out? Petra wondered. Jenny did not appear to notice. Jones had opened a bottle of wine. For the occasion, he had whispered. Had Petra detected a note of sarcasm in his voice, or was she just imagining it? Ice cream which had seen the freezer more than once. Cheese and biscuits were grudgingly offered, with Jones hovering over them, daring them to accept. Jenny ate sparingly, just one or two mouthfuls here and there, her brain darting back and forth between her husband's recent burial to the acceptable conversational topics she now shared with the friend she hadn't seen in nearly a decade. She asked about Petra's work. I do not understand why you left Africa. Didn't you get some kind of promotion? Petra muttered something about being a team leader. Her pale hair thankfully covering her frowning face as she looked down at the plate in front of her. How could Jenny possibly understand any of this? She wondered silently, wanting to lift the atmosphere in the room and also stop Jenny probing further. She explained somewhat brusquely. Look, relief workers were being killed or dying of disease. I did not feel it was my turn yet. I would like to forget it for a while. If you don't mind. She shook her head, hoping that their conversation would return to reminiscences of their school days. We will talk when we are alone, they both thought silently. To their dismay, though, they found that even after Jones had left the room and they were alone, surrounded by the silence that the large house afforded them, their conversation only touched surface level. Jenny for sure knew that she was unable to express the troubles that tormented her waking hours, even to her oldest friend. I shouldn't have come here. Petra thought frustratedly, only half listening to Jenny's tales of her grown-up children's exploits. She felt as wound up as a tightly coiled spring, ready to release itself at the first chance. It was then that she decided to leave the following day and return later in the week. Jenny's face fell when she heard her friend's decision. Not so soon, Petra. Please. I really need you. I promise I will get back here as quick as possible. It is just that I need some breathing space, a little time to think. Stay, please. You can be alone. I won't disturb you, said Jenny. Petra replied that she just needed a little time. She was wryly amused by Jenny's quick response, putting her friend's needs before her own. Of course you need time. After all, you have been through a lot. It must have been heartbreaking. I do understand. 33. When the women were alone, why couldn't they talk about themselves? A. They thought Jones might be listening. B. They were both upset. C. Jenny only wanted to talk about her children. D. It was difficult for them to voice their thoughts. The right answer is D. It was difficult for them to voice their thoughts.